Thank you. Perfect. So good morning, good afternoon, founders. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. I know it was amazing. It was Juneteenth, and we were out celebrating our freedom, celebrating the arts, celebrating all of the amazing things that we accomplished and innovated. Now we are back in class working on our businesses so we can further impact our global community. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you all for showing up for yourselves and for showing up for each other and for showing up for our community. So we are at the midway point of our class, and we are week 4, talking about how we're building our teams and how we're growing our operations at this point. So we're really getting into understanding what kind of gaps exist in your business venture, and additionally, how to kind of grow your team, how to communicate with your team, and how to take what are the best approaches to determining these 2 avenues and to solidifying them. So we have someone who I find is just an amazing woman, very accomplished, very dynamic speaker. She's an award-winning keynote speaker. She's a facilitator, and she's the CEO of Business Operations Rewired. Her name is Shatora Ladorn. I love her name. And what she's going to talk to us about today is the 4 pillars of success. Specifically, how do we establish repeatable processes, elements that are repeatable, to kind of scale any business. You know how you need a strategy that kind of works for any level that you're at or any business model that you have. I think she's going to really get into that today about how you can scale any business model using these 4 pillars or these 4 concepts and these 4 elements. So I am going to let her take it away. I'm so excited to hear what she has to say. Just make sure your microphones are muted, and we'll go through the slides as she has them, and I'll let her take it away. Shatora?
Awesome. Thank you so very much. I'm so happy to be here. Glad to see all of you. I appreciate the Black Innovation Center for the invite, right? I was super surprised when you hit me up. So thank you. I really appreciate it. But just to jump right in, I know you came here for value. And because I appreciate your time, I promise you I will not waste any of it. So really quick, if I could learn a little bit about you in like 15 seconds, if you could tell me your name and whatever your business venture is, 15 seconds, 15 quick seconds, if you don't mind. I'll just go down the participants list and I'll call from there. It looks like I have, is it Javon?
Yep, that's me.
Okay. You could tell me a little bit about your business.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so my company, Shop Owl, we're a marketing agency that specializes in helping brands launch and scale on Amazon. We do everything from professional product photography, sorry, going on the spot, regular business research, helping to launch their products on the platform, advertising, social media management, web design, basically everything that all the e-commerce needs a brand would essentially have and need to grow their businesses effectively. We essentially have worked with brands on Amazon, such as book brands, grocery and gourmet apparel, as well as even worked with some brands off Amazon, including restaurants and the nonprofit. So we're looking essentially always to make e-commerce easy and be a decentralized marketing team for the clients that we work with to help their brands scale online.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And it's very nice to meet you. Mm-hmm. I see 2 CFBIs listed here. Are those, okay. So Devonna, if you want to go.
Well, I'm Devonna May. I'm the program manager at the Center for Black Innovation. And we are here to help the to help rid our culture and our community of economic deserts, and to bring opportunity and innovation to our community, to our business owners. So we're using our center as a very fertile ground to help grow your businesses, your ideas, and to build our community. So with the Accelerator program, that's one of our many initiatives that's helping to kind of bring economic freedom and fulfillment back to our community.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you. I have iPhone. So whoever is in from their iPhone.
Pretty sure me. I am iPhone as well as Mandela Jackson. One is my laptop. Okay. My name is Kevin Jackson. The name of my company is Eden 11, Eden XI. And my business model is predicated on urban gardening, urban farming. So I build hydroponic and aquaponic systems. And our whole thing is basically this concept called permaculture and the ability for us to coexist with nature. And I guess I'm sorry. Let me say it the right way. Technology, this whole transhumanism concept, and traditional, I guess, farming and medicine and things like that, creating a bridge between the two that can actually be harmonious to both humanity as well as nature. So yeah, urban farming.
Nice. Thank you so much. And very nice to meet you. Okay, I see Leslie.
Hey guys, I'm Leslie. I'm a little sick, so that's why I didn't turn on the camera. I didn't get a haircut or anything, so no. Yeah, my name is Leslie. I own Mosaic, and Mosaic is an e-commerce platform that turns the entire planet into a huge online mall, so you can find any business and buy from the business. So I did it because I wanted, I want customers to order from local businesses, but local businesses find it difficult to compete with large retailers. So I found a way to put all of them in one platform. So that's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I have Paul.
Yes, hello. My name is Paul Jackson II. My business is Math Relation, where I specialize in helping students get to a level of proficiency and competency with regards to getting education factors within STEM. So I specialize with students, of course, helping with the education and applying how math is applicable in real life scenarios.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And Stacy.
Hi, my company is called School Dismissed. It's a film production company focused on K through 12, exposing K through 12 public education issues. So I'm currently working on my first feature documentary. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Thank you. Tiara?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I don't have my video up today. I apologize about that. But I am the founder of a nonprofit organization. It's called Teach Her Success Incorporated. I'm currently building my brand, but the main thing is I focus on youth leadership and youth empowerment by encouraging young entrepreneurs, and I engage youth in community service. And I'm trying to now set up like an after-school program or a summer camp where we can develop the life skills within youth, just give them a more opportunity to express themselves and see what they need, to just become their own boss or just to be more active in the community. So that's currently what I do. Awesome.
Awesome. Very nice to meet you. I'd love to speak with you after. I have some young men that could probably, they're on that same path, but they're like 16, 15. And so that might be a good partnership.
Yes, and that's the age range too. But I have a focus on middle school and high school because I think about what I needed when I was that age. So that's definitely the purpose of it. So thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Awesome. Thank you. And last but not least, Zachary? Zachary? You there? Well, it looks like we do have one more. Zachary, if you can come back off of mute in just a little bit, but is it Kia?
Yes, I just joined, sorry.
Okay, no, if you just introduce yourself and what you do in your business.
Kia Martin, the owner of Chiari, which is a luxury footwear brand. We're based in Miami. Shoes are handmade in Italy, and we've been in business for about 4 years now.
Oh, lovely. Awesome. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Zachary, I see your.
Hey, yeah, sorry about that. I was on mute there. Nice to meet you. I'm working on an employee engagement and well-being tool. So it'll use something called pose estimation to capture the amount of reps that someone's doing and their range of motion. And then it'll have micro courses for education and then brief survey questions so that you can have either companies or in the civic environment make more data-driven decisions.
Oh, I love it. Nice. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Was that everyone? Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody. If I didn't, please don't let me skip you. I love to hear from you and about your business. Got everybody? Okay. All right. Well, then a little bit about me. So I am Shatora Ladorn. I am a mom. I always put that first and foremost. That was a great blessing. I'm a coach, an award-winning speaker, facilitator, author. I've worked with a lot of great influencers. I've worked with big businesses, small businesses. Currently, right now, I'm working with Instacart as their employee and leadership development facilitator. I've worked with State Farm, just implementing a lot of different leadership strategies, business strategies, a lot of the operations, the things that we forget as entrepreneurs that we need because we're so busy trying to build something that we forget that we have to teach somebody else to do it in order for us to succeed. So my program is called Rewired. Everything that I do is rewired. I have business operations rewired. I have training rewired, character rewired, just because I understand that most of the time when it comes to the things that we feel like we're just not getting past the hump, it's usually because we just need to remove it from one place and plug it into the other. Very seldom do you have to start from scratch on anything that you do. And so that's where Rewired came from. And in this case, running your business on systems and processes is the single most powerful and strategic way to grow your income exponentially and gain freedom at life-changing levels. A little bit more about me. I know what works. And when I say I know what works, I mean, I know what works for an ever-changing environment, right? I've worked with over 157 plus corporations. I could run that list off to you. And most of those I worked with for them to scale. As far as entrepreneurs, a little over 500 entrepreneurs that myself and my VA were able to count, and that was rewiring them to growth. I do a lot of summits and retreats and things of that nature. And then now I can say I've probably hit 300 million in revenue, rewiring companies to profit. So I am very blessed to be able to say that now. And that reminds me to update that slide as well. But my promise to you, right? Because we're here today for specific reasons. I'm sorry, let me move that over. So for you, my promise is that I'm going to show you how you can make the ultimate shift from wherever you are, right? Being unable to build a team, knowing how to hire and train properly, if you're leaving money on the table, if you feel like if you step away from your business for a day, it's going to fall, or if you don't work on your business for a day, that things just get behind, to really being able to have a fully functioning, organized business in this blueprint for creating processes and systems, and also being able to implement that into training for the next person, right? So what we're going to do, this is a little bit of the roadmap. We're going to have an honest assessment as far as where we are. We'll talk about effective systems, effective communication, along with what forecasting really looks like, what it means, and building consistency. And then I'll also talk about how to connect with me. So if you haven't already, I want you fully engaged right here. I know a lot of times we get on our phone, maybe we're researching something that we just heard, or we're trying to take other notes. But if I could have you right here for just a moment. Just turn off any distractions that you have, close the doors to the room. I know my son's biggest emergency is usually that he can't reach like the Oreos or Reese's on the top of the refrigerator. And so he'll interrupt me, but I lock the door. So you might hear him knocking. Because I want to talk to you about systems. And the reason that systems are so important when it comes to team building, it's so important when it comes to literally everything that you do. These 4 principles that I have, and I say God gave to me, I have found work in every single area of life. So while yes, today I'm going to talk to you about your business and also being able to build a team, these are principles that I literally use in every single aspect of my life, from kids to business, to working with other business owners, to just how I function on a day-to-day. Me getting dressed is on a system, right? So let me tell you what systems means, right? Systems, what it really stands for in my world is save yourself time, energy, and money. I want that to marinate for you for just a second. Save yourself time, energy, and money. That's a system, right? The first part of that system is being able to self-assess. A self-analysis, when it comes to your business, of course, is finding out where you are really, right? Not what numbers say, not what people tell you you're great at, but where are you really in business? Are you giving the value that you're supposed to be giving? Are you doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing? Then not only on that, have you built the foundation of it on things that are sustainable? Or was this a quick win, a quick money thing, right? Self-assess where you are. And then why are things that way? Usually our problems that we have in business or the hurdles that we have come from us not understanding why we put it there in the first place, or forgetting why we put it there in the first place, right? So that's an honest assessment. The second part is effective communication. A lot of times when we've built something or we're doing something new, we may bring on more people. And normally the first thought is, I need to hire a VA, or I need a family member to come on my team with me. Or you think about getting all these other business owners, CPAs, videographers, and you forget that if there's no process in place, you can't communicate any of the changes that you want to happen. So having those processes is going to be extremely important. The third part is forecasting. What is the impact of what I'm doing now? Now we hear that and we usually think of it on this major scale, but let's bring it down a little bit. I want to talk about a podcast, right? So I do show notes for David Shan's Social Proof podcast. One of the episodes that was uploaded, it was like episode 235, right? The real episode would have been 233. But if I would have changed that one number simply on YouTube, it would have messed up an entire system and flow. It would have messed up the videographer that goes in and does the edits, because they're looking at the wrong number. It would have messed up the people that did the filing of that episode, because now they're looking at the wrong number. How it's actually filed in the Google Doc, it would have, literally just messed up a whole flow by me changing one bit of information, right? That's on a small scale. But if you think about, of course, on the big scale, what does it look like if you do change something in the company? What if you're changing benefits? What if you're implementing a change of just simply moving key people around? Somebody might not want to work under somebody else. And if you know that, that's a big consideration, right? And then the last one is being able to build consistency. And I say this as far as building consistency through the changes. This is probably my favorite one, my most important one. And, I usually bring up Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is one of those companies, whether you believe in their values or not, you understand that they have great customer service for the most part, right? Chick-fil-A could sell chicken tacos tomorrow. They can sell chicken pizza tomorrow, chicken whatever. But the one thing is that line will still be around the building because everybody knows what they're getting when they go to Chick-fil-A, regardless of what they're selling. There is consistency and change. You as a leader would need to be so consistent in what you do and how you operate that whatever changes you implement in your business, everyone understands they can follow you and they can trust you. So it goes so much deeper than just building consistency, doing the same thing over and over. It's being consistent in change. Absolutely key, absolutely important. All right. So we're about to have a few parties, right? If y'all are down for it, I hope y'all are down for it. The first party that we're going to have is going to be an analysis party. This party, I want you to think about the most pressing issue that you have right now. Now, don't make it the one that's like major and big and can't be solved right here in the next, hour or so. But what's an issue you're having right now, right? As this timer goes out, I want you to write down that issue, and then we're going to go into a breakout room and we're going to talk about it. I want you to discuss it because one of the biggest things that we do as business owners is that we forget to talk to other business owners, because chances are they've probably been there, they've probably gone through the same issue, and they may be able to help you out, or they may be having the same issue as well, and you might just need to rewire what you're doing. All right. Now, I don't want y'all to spend too much time in the breakout room in your thoughts in your head. I want you to speak out what your issue is. So I'm going to split you all up. It should put I'm trying to put about 2 to 3 people in a room just so that it's not too much. Maybe even, let's do 4. Let's do 4 people in a room, roughly. Okay. All right, so we have about 3 or 4 people for the room. That gives us about 2 minutes per person. Talk about your issue and get some feedback. Now, the reason that I'm making it such a short time frame is because there's urgency on everything that we do. You have to be able to make a decision as a business owner. If you're sitting and contemplating, you're working your way out of the solution. You probably thought of it first, and you've now worked yourself so far out of the solution, you forgot where you were. So the time frame is intentionally short. All right. But I will see you all back in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Did it let you into the room, or did it put you in 2 separate rooms?
How do you save this?
Oh wow, you did not play about the time. Like that thing.
Welcome back. Welcome to have everybody. Okay. Yes. Okay. So we have everybody back. All right. So I would love to choose someone to step up in the hot seat, or you can volunteer, or I can just choose. But I'd like for you to tell me what came out of the breakout room, and then let's see what I can do to help.
I'll go. Yeah, so I was in breakout room 3 with Kia and Jake. So my thing was, I realized that I need to become more structured and process driven because I realized my processes degrade when I get overwhelmed. So I usually am pretty organized, but I realize when I get overwhelmed, I basically am putting out fires. And so all of those nice little processes and strategies kind of go out the window. And so that's something I need to work on. For Kia, it was finding funding for her business. And it sounds like also finding ways of dealing with rising costs and getting new markets to get her product to, so that way she can have that supersede the whole need of, needing funding. And then for Jake, it's been finding more time to focus on his business because he's had to get another job. And so finding the time to get funding and then focusing on his business and making it priority has been a challenge. So I think those are our three things. Let me know if I missed anything.
Organization and funding for the most part.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
I shared one thing, by the way, and you guys can check it out in the chat. It's a grant list that someone has shared with me before. It's constantly updating, and it's for minority and women-owned businesses. And so it's constantly updating, so you can use that. It has just about everything I found, accelerators to grants. So you guys can check that out too, and keep it on your favorite list.
If you could drop it in this chat, since you put it in the chat in the breakout room, it doesn't transfer over to the main room.
There it is again.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone from group 4 want to discuss what happened? Group 4 or group 1?
I'll go. I think it's interesting because everyone's at different stages of their life cycle with their business, and they're in different industries, so it presents different needs. I think for me, I was mentioning that my challenge right now is trying to connect with senior leaders within HR or within the C-suite to identify what their true needs are and if the solution that I'm building actually meets those needs and what they're willing to pay. And then I think each of us also had the challenge, obviously, with capital too, to make sure that you can keep chugging along with your idea. But I thought it's interesting that the challenges are unique at different stages and different companies.
Absolutely. And I like that you brought that up, because as you're saying, the changes, the hurdles are a little bit different for everyone. In a sense, what's great about someone that may be newer in business is that they may be giving you an idea for something that you wouldn't have thought of because you're so much further along that you're thinking, okay, well, I'm not thinking about that, or I'm not worried about that, but you're able to use it because it's a new, fresh idea, and vice versa, right? The wiser ideas for those that are new. So awesome. Thank you. Anyone from group 4?
Yes, in our group, we had Mandela share that he needs additional help within having computers that help scale out for his business and also with the organization. Tiara is able to share how recently she was able to successfully file herself and become a 501c3. So with this testing, with finding out within tutoring, we both shared our assistance with the education, different grants she's applying to, a lot of the recommendations or requirements, just having over a year or two status to be able to receive those types of grants and award funding. And then for myself, just recently finishing up the school year, I didn't necessarily want to just transition ahead straight right into doing some work, but I slowly am with, being a part of the Accelerator, where a lot of the stuff that I necessarily need to do is just more so just me doing it. But I just, just slow grinding to it rather than just going head first after finish up the school year.
Okay. It's funny you said that. That's, of course, as we know, that's a major thing. Just doing it. Just doing it always sounds easy until you have to do it, and then your mind starts to take over. Okay, so let's talk about the next piece of what you need to do with the information. Now you have a full assessment of where you are, what you're needing, right? Let's talk about communication. Now the communication part can go several different ways. Either changes that you're making within your organization, which it doesn't sound like many of you are at that place. So for you, it's how do I communicate that I need the grant? Is it grant writing? right? How do I communicate to the people that I need to get to? Zachary, right? Zachary, you were talking about the C-suite level people for different companies. So I want you to laser focus on how can I contact or reach out to these people? Or are you trying to be too corporate and it's holding you back from simply just reaching out and asking? Right? So I want you to focus on that. And everyone in your different areas of what your hurdle was. Don't deviate from what your hurdle was. Don't think of a new thing that you can have communication on. I want you to think about the thing you had an issue with and how you need to communicate in order to make it happen. Who you need to communicate with. So does everybody got that? Does anybody have any questions on it? Because again, I don't want you to get into the breakout room and deviate from what you initially had your concern for. We're all good? All right, 8 minutes. Remember, be mindful of your time. Make sure everyone gets the opportunity to speak. Let's talk about the communication. Give each other ideas. Be each other's backbone. Right? And your rooms are back open. Welcome back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Do we have everybody? Okay, yep, looks like we have everyone back. All right, so this hot seat is a little bit different. Instead of telling me about your entire group, someone tell me about you, your business specifically. What do you need to communicate? What do you need help with communicating?
I'll go really quickly. My husband has a health and wellness business where he sells perishable goods, all natural holistic goods, so herbal teas and sea moss and things like that. He started his business right at the height of the pandemic, and during that time, post offices were crashing, and because of that, a lot of his products were breaking and being returned in the mail. So it was a very high demand for his product because it was natural ways to heal your body and to prevent, diseases and illnesses. However, because he was getting so many orders and he hadn't known how to properly package it, his shipping had become his biggest issue. So the best thing that I think as far as communicating was to ask other people who are maybe seasoned in this space, seasoned in the shipping of perishable goods area, how are they shipping, and if they can provide any insight on, what type of packaging they're using, or what techniques they're using, or what services they're using, perhaps maybe independent services outside of the USPS or the UPS or the FedEx. So that has been his biggest challenge. So just asking other people, is kind of like a big way to kind of get the answers you need.
Right, absolutely. I love that. So where is he now as far as getting back on track in the communication that has gone out to different customers? How has that gone?
So there's been a lot of damage control or reputation recovery. What he's had to do is just communicate very quickly and very honestly with people who have received damaged packages. And there's been a lot of money spent to reship to correct that problem. So it's still an ongoing problem because the services haven't really gotten any better. He has changed from glass bottles to plastic bottles and adding different elements like peanuts or foam. He's tried different methods. I don't think that he has effectively reached out to more seasoned people yet. I think it's just kind of trying to, kind of just moving fast. And so also I think sometimes you need to kind of reset, just kind of take a minute to really reset your approach. And even if that means, taking a quick break so you can reassess how you're going to move forward so you don't keep moving forward fast with the same problems. So if that makes sense.
Right. I like that you brought up the transparency. One of the things that I'm very big on in my business is being hot. That's honest, open, and transparent. Right? That's hot, honest, open, transparent, because your customers are your lifeblood at the end of the day. And so I appreciate that he's able to do some of that damage control. One other thing that I would say for him to consider, yes, continue to try to reach out to more seasoned people, is look at a different industry, right? That has some sort of packaging going on, and find out what they're doing. What did they do a little different? Because it could be that he could take whatever they're doing in that industry and just transfer it over, reapply, of course, make sure it meets all safety requirements to be able to go ahead and move forward in that way as well. Because so many people had that same problem having to shift during COVID. So definitely take a look at that. Awesome. Anybody else?
I'll go. Kevin is my real name. Well, we were, I guess, basically speaking about, I guess, communicating our value, and being able to fully be able to and being able to be fully understood by our target. The two people inside my group deal with young people, and like for me, when it comes down to my business venture, it's a lot of like technical words that I have to use, that I have to try to explain into layman's terms.
Yep.
And came up with the idea of I guess creating like a mantra, a creed, a mission to effectively in a few words communicate what it is that we stand for. For them, it's the young people, I believe it was the young lady, Tiara, that she has this acronym, Teach Me, Teaching Excellence, and I forget the whole acronym. And it basically
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was going to say it real quick. It's Teach Me, taking effective action can help manifest excellence. And I like that you said that, because I kind of had that in mind, something where you can bring them in and you can do that the same way, like you're saying too, when you just, I noticed that when you're trying to use big words, but more people like it when you just be authentic, or if you're from a certain place or you do this, you can go in and say and just be yourself, and they might even understand you a little bit more. So I've learned to do that now, and it's okay. So, yeah. But thank you for that.
Oh.
You can go back. I just wanted to put that in there. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, that's basically it. Yeah, I was looking for you to do that, actually.
Awesome. Awesome. And so when you're talking about how to communicate that, right, bring it back to a system, right? In the acronym that she has, that's a system, right? Yeah. It's very easy to follow. Yeah, it's a script of sorts. And so when it comes to implementing that, actually, I think I put it on my post today, right? Making sure that everyone is clear about whatever the goal is, whatever the role is. That's the first piece of it. Because once everybody understands the goal, the acronym just becomes a second nature to it. It becomes the process, the system. So whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to communicate, let that be the acronym, so that as they're saying the acronym, it's step, 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 step. Right? And plan that ahead, right? Plan it ahead by making that a mantra, by making it something that's said daily, by making it rhyme, some of those different ways to communicate. And just as you're discussing things in meetings and you're starting to implement that, there's only 3 types of meetings that you should have in your business. One of them is for strategy. The other one is for operations. And then the fourth one is for culture. The third one is culture, right? 3 types: strategy, operations, culture. Think about that when you're creating, creating your mantra, right? What's the strategy behind it? How does this operate in our business? And how does this impact our culture? All right. Great. I love it. I love it. So I'll know where we're going next. Let's talk about forecasting. So if you do the communication piece, right? You've assessed, if you do the communication piece of what you need to do in whichever areas of business, how is it going to impact you next? Will it impact you greatly? Is it going to create more strain on you? Is it something you're going to need to delegate to other people if you do have the appropriate communication, right? Write out that list of all the next things that can happen. You know, when you throw a rock and you skip it, what are the next things that are going to happen should you effectively communicate the idea or the thing that you need to change? All right. Any questions on that before we hop into the room? All right. Now this time your rooms are going to change around a little bit. Okay. So don't be surprised when you're like, wait a minute, I'm not with the same people. Your rooms have changed. All right. Okay. And they are open. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. All right. So you already know the drill. Somebody talk to me about forecasting. What does it look like for you?
I'll speak. This is Tierra. So me and Jake was in a group just then, and he's the one that does the candles and stuff that he's trying to get off. So he already kind of got an idea of what he need to do next, the forecast of just looking at what the organization need or what's the next thing, what's most important. So we talked about like a to-do list, prioritizing what you need to get done and who do you need to speak with to try to get things going to, you know, what you need to get to. And I spoke about the season, or like someone said earlier, speaking to someone who already been in that program, who already wrote a grant before or who already partnered with someone before. You can just kind of speak to someone and get yourself out there and get engaged until you do get yourself out there. So just knowing what you want to do, making a list and sticking to it, that consistency is always key. That's pretty much how you can forecast, looking at what needs to be done right now, you know, looking at what's important versus not necessarily being put off, but what need your attention right now. So I think we kind of talked a lot about that.
Okay. And I'll tell you a thing about to-do list. One of my favorite books is called The One Thing. If you've not read it before, great book to read. And yes, it talks about focusing on the one thing, but there's a breakdown as far as a to-do list, right? Because we have our 100 things to do on our to-do list, down to washing clothes and doing the dishes and then making these phone calls. And so while it's great to have your to-do list, behind your to-do list should be your should-do list. On your should-do list, and this is the way I do it, I write down whatever my goal is. So if my, you know, or maybe 2 or 3 goals, right? If my goal is that I need to make this certain amount of money by whatever set time, or I need to actually make this call so that this thing can happen, those things are my should do's. So I have all of my to do's, and then on my should do list, it's what on my to do list goes on my should do list to get me towards my goal. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how many of these to do's I check off. If I didn't hit my goal, I still feel behind, right? So have your to do, but then have your should do list that's aimed directly, specifically to your goal. All right.
Okay. I find that when it comes down to building like a brand, that the leadership matters a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like and we said the word transparency.
Mm-hmm.
The values of the leaders in the future will always show throughout the company.
Yes.
And if the leader is truly about the value and the mission that the company states, then there's longevity.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just a script that you don't really necessarily follow, that you're just doing it for the money and you're just acting for a second, then you lose a lot from that.
Yeah.
So for me in my forecasting, I am making decisions personally, as well as when it comes down to the system, to communicate. These are the values that we are after. These are the steps, and these are the reasons why we're taking these steps. So
Mhm.
that in the future, when people come, they see that this is what they're about.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying that right.
You are. And let me give you one step beyond that. The one powerful thing that we have as entrepreneurs is that we hire our people. We're not so big in corporate where, you know, they got sent through this funnel of great applications and resumes and all of that. We're choosing our people. And when choosing your people, while yes, we want to choose mom and cousin and all of the free help that we can get and the $3.50 VAs that we can get, consider hiring people who love what they do. Everybody is not an entrepreneur. In our headspace, we think so because we're around so many other entrepreneurs. We've immersed ourselves in that environment. So it seems like everybody has a business. There are a million worker bees. And most of them just enjoy what they do. They enjoy data entry. They enjoy making phone calls. Use people and their strengths and let them know that the business is theirs. Now, let me preface that with, it's not the cheesy, you own this too, we're building this together. That sounds good to everybody, but you know that everybody's sitting there like, yeah, okay, you're getting paid from this. No, this is your job and I expect you to do it at the highest efficiency because that's what you love to do. And the second you don't, let me know. We'll either move you around or let's find you something else. Another great opportunity that we have as entrepreneurs. You might not fit for my company. Let's find you somewhere else. I know 100 other entrepreneurs that could use you. And in turn, that other entrepreneur may help me find somebody to replace you. Or because you used to love it, you probably know other people that love to do this thing too. Don't get caught up in building an organization that you forget that you're really there building people. Right? Anybody can come and go. I would love to keep some of the assistants that I have, but then that means I'm not doing my job. Like I'm really not. Anybody else? One more person we have time for?
I've come to a conclusion, even if it's just a temporary one, that we may have to readjust our method.
Okay.
So we started off shipping perishable goods, but because we're having such a problem with it, maybe we now have to ship our dry goods or our non-perishable goods, and then have a pickup location for our local clients. And then moving forward or forecasting to the future, learning how to get our perishable goods placed nationwide, partnering with stores nationwide, because we do have clients who like the perishable goods that are in California, New Jersey, Arizona, all over the country. We don't want to deprive them of that, but we don't want to continue a problem. We want to fix the problem and then pretty much just readjust. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what Javon and I kind of came to in our breakout group.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How afraid are you of losing a good customer if you could gain them as a good employee?
Wow, what do you mean by that?
So all of the people that love your product may not be business owners, but they may love to have something going on. And so if you, because they know the product, they believe in the product, if you'd be willing to share whatever the manufacturing is that needs to happen, or give them what needs to happen, you can create a hub right there for other people that are in the area to pick up from there. But you can't be afraid to lose them as a customer, because you can gain them as an employee and also continue to open up other avenues for you out there. They already love it.
I love that. I think that
America, Avon.
I just heard someone say yesterday, the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is that a millionaire is concerned about making money, and a billionaire is concerned about how to get other people to make money. So spot on. Thank you.
You're
Yes.
welcome. Thank you. All right. So our last one for this portion of it, right, is about consistency. With the changes that you need to make, right, the conversations that you need to have, everything you've analyzed, what forecasting looks like, how can you be consistent in the changes that you need to make? What does it look like? Does it look like setting up a system for other people to be able to follow? Does it look like just a simple conversation? Right? Because it could be, don't overthink and think, oh, I have to have this immaculate plan. It could just be a conversation, depending on your issue. But what does consistency really look like? Right? And your rooms are open. All right, welcome back in. Welcome. Okay, I think that's everybody. Oh, almost. There we go. That's everybody. Okay. Somebody talk to me. Let's talk consistency. Consistency.
I
And
talk
change.
a lot. I'm sorry.
Here for it.
So I won't say everything, but when I think of consistency, I think of consistency and growth.
Mhm.
A lot of us, like, we'll create a system, and then we'll be like, this system works, let's keep it like this. And we have to understand that trends change, people change.
Yeah.
And we have to consistently work on ourselves first and foremost, so that we can actually be like, I'm not just only in business, but personally, so that we can always be prepared for the shifts that's coming. That's always going to come. And the shifts may come like 3-4 times a year, easy. You know, so it's that, and with that consistent of growth within ourselves, also keeping ourselves in the mind of being of service. And when being of service, that gives us the mind or the insight to actually listen and pay attention to our surroundings and the trends and the people that surround us, so that we can actually stay ahead.
I love that.
You know, that's all I'm gonna say.
I love that. So one of the greatest things that I got from having a coach of my own before, and this was in network marketing, interesting enough. And I never really did network marketing, but I love the concept and I loved how you can apply it in your business. And what you were just mentioning about really being of service to people. My business really blew up when I stopped looking for clients and I stopped looking for customers. And I know you're like, wait a minute, what? But he said, I'm only looking for people who are looking for me. And that completely changed my perspective on business in general. And you may get it now and you may think about it years from now, whenever you're ready for it. But he said, I'm only looking for people that are looking for me. So all the target market and all of that, yes, those are great intricacies. But if you're looking for people who are already looking for you, looking for what you have, it's not as difficult. I can find plenty of people that need pacifiers. There's a lot of people with babies. I don't have to specifically target the mom that lives in Texas, has 2 other kids, are going crazy. It's deep. It's not that deep. So I'm only looking for people who are looking for me, because then I know that I can give them value. So I love that. Thank you. Who else? Where is consistency making its way into your business now?
I had a good talk with Devana. We chatted about, because my company, one of the things is we're a service, marketing agency. One of the things that we have struggled with getting organized was due to the fact that many of our days were not inherently structured, because client meetings could happen whenever they're available. You know what I mean? So by some nature of it, in a way, you have to deal effectively with being flexible, as I want to put it, right? Because in this sense, you have to be consistent but flexible. And so trying to allow for that flexibility to occur, but still having within it some guardrails, because you don't want to be too flexible. Because I know Devana was saying how like some clients were calling her like at 11:30 p.m. and like you have to kind of find ways of putting those boundaries in place. And that was something that, for my company, it took us some time, because, generally people think of customer service as, we're always ready, we're always there, but you have to also sleep, so I had to, acknowledge that, yes, we have to kind of start, layering in some, even that's like, for example, for my team, one of the things that we just started doing, many months ago was, like having like a set time for our meetings, or having core things that are just built into our calendar, and that, but still allowing for those moments where we need to be flexible. So I think it's just trying to, obviously you don't want a system that's so rigid that failure, or sorry, not failure, but like, life just is not possible, right? Because you can't have it so rigid that literally any small mistake throws your whole system off, but you have to have it be flexible, so that way you can still bounce back and still continue to be consistent without your entire day or system falling apart. So I think that was a nice little caveat that we discussed.
Absolutely. And that goes back to the communication, right? Did everybody get together to decide when the meeting was going to happen? Mm-hmm. Then you're less likely to run into any of those issues when it comes to life, because now this is, it's set, but it wasn't just set by the people above. It was everyone was inclusive. So yeah, absolutely.
And I was in that group as well. I got added a little late, so I didn't really get a chance to say anything. The first one, I guess I was kind of by myself. This is Tiara speaking. But as far as the consistency with me, just like he said with the being flexible, because I have to be flexible now too. You stated that you was a mom. I am too. I have 3 kids. They might have this going on. We got the end of the year. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got this on your planner. So it is about having flexibility, but you want to find some type of balance where you're not burning yourself out and you're hitting this, and this. Even if you don't get everything done, you allotted some time where you did get in there. It's always the consistency. You're always working towards the main thing, which is the goal. So even if you don't get everything done, what works for me is just knowing, okay, well, I didn't get everything done, but I was consistent. I did put a little work in on that today. So things might be going slow at first, but at some point in the forecast, maybe, it might just work for you because you have been consistent. So that consistency to me is just always key. And I actually here and there lately kind of been getting frustrated because things are going so slow. But like we said, I started at a pandemic area. Things are going to go slow. But when you know your audience, or if you have something out there, a service that somebody is always going to need, then I like that too. I'm only looking for people that are looking for me, because we spend so much time trying to get people to come to us. But once you really being your authentic self and you consistent with what you do and you put something out there, your people, they're going to follow. It's that the people are going to come, basically. And I'm seeing that myself too, just by putting this out or maybe doing this event. You might even think it's not going to be that big of a crowd or whoever, and it turned out to be way more than what you expected just because you were true to what you were doing and you've been consistent with it. So I just wanted to add that in there.
Absolutely. Thank you. And for some people, we confuse discipline with consistency, and that's really two separate things, right? Discipline, you could talk about another time. Consistency is really saying I'm going to show up. So we were talking about me being a mom. I have my times for my children and my times for business, right? And yes, there is that flexibility. Javon, you were just talking about not being too rigid and being available for them. And because I'm still the personal brand, I'm able to say, hey, I am a mom and I am an amazing business owner. I'm an amazing mom the same way I'm an amazing business owner. And by choosing to work with me, I understand that you're absolutely amazing at what you do as well. And I would never ask you to deviate from that. And therefore, these are my times of business. These are the times that we can work together. Because the same way I'm not going to steal from my business, I'm not going to steal from my family, right? Again, those are the flexibilities that we have as personal brands. And as you grow and you become the Fortune 500 company, your values are still what you stand on. Once again, Chick-fil-A, not open on Sundays, sorry. And that's what most people wanted, right? People desire it more. You wake up Sunday morning, you're like, I ain't thought about Chick-fil-A all week. But you want to go. People love the fact that you'll stand on your ground. Adding the discipline piece into it, most of the time when we see all of these people that are super fit, God bless them. I mean, just muscles galore and drinking shakes and all of that. We love that they're able to show this nice physique, but what we're really enamored with and what we love is their consistency. If we look at it, right? We love their discipline. We love the fact that they were able to achieve a result because of the thing they did every day. So while we look at the outside view of it, what we really love is their consistency. All right, anybody else? And it can also be a question.
I think the key thing is that consistency builds discipline, right? Because you don't really get discipline. You have to start somewhere. And then from there, you do it long enough, then it becomes a habit. And from a habit, it seems like discipline, but it doesn't happen out of nowhere.
Yeah. Like you feel like something's missing when you're not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
For me, with the film production company, I have to create a pitch deck. And like Kiara on here, or Kia was saying, she's been working on a pitch deck for a year. Same with me, like to really make it good, it takes a very long time. But with that said, for the consistency piece, I want to use the pitch deck to consistently reach out to investors and distributors.
Yeah.
So that's what I got out of this. Thank you.
And make the same one in variations of it. So all you have to do is make little tweaks. So kind of like having a master resume, right? You have your big master resume with everything you've done working at McDonald's when you were 16, all the way up to whatever you're doing now. You have that master resume. And for what you need for whoever you're pitching to, you're able to take those pieces out and not have to go recreate again, because you have your master deck that you can just pull from. Cool. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of, speaking about organization and having consistency with your day, or with your, like when it comes to building a team, right? I was mentioning to Javon that when I was working in corporate America, we would come into the office at a certain time, we would sit and meet with our team at a certain time, we would discuss our goals, our projections, our challenges, and whatever help we needed. And then after that, we go back out, went to our desk, and we each had a way of approaching those issues as the day went on. And I think that that's good. I like that. I like organization and structure around my goals, you know. But as entrepreneurs, we have to figure out that structure for ourselves. And then when we're growing a team, what I'm really segueing into is like project management and team management, skills and systems. So I don't know if there's like an ideal one, or how can we start to like manage our teams and our projects better, you know? And is there a automation or automated way that we can do it, or a system that we can use?
Absolutely. I love that you brought that up as far as, you know, going into those meetings. And I want you to think about how many times for those meetings where you like, here we go, gotta go to another meeting. For one, a lot of things is just the email. Keep that in mind first. And then you can use things like a Trello board, Trello, a Trello board to keep everyone on track as far as what needs to be done, when it needs to be done. I can share with you one of mine. I have a million boards. So this is a Trello board. These are just all podcast episodes, but I do have, even, you know, for my business, for my VA specifically, I have a board that tells her, you know, all about her agreement. She can come here for all of my logins, where's photos, like different things that we're doing in the business. And, you know, when to send an email, what day to send an email. It's step for step so that they're not spinning their wheels. In my head, I know everything that needs to get done. All I need to do is put it down somewhere for people and whoever's process, whoever's job it is to go do it, to be able to find it. So being stuck on having meetings, it's cool. Me and my crew, we have a meeting usually every Sunday, but for the most part, if I knew that I came up with something and I put it on the board, they're like, oh yeah, we already got that. There's no need for us to have all of the extra meetings because what they need is there. I came up with it. It should have been my responsibility to put it out. Right? I wrote it down somewhere. I might as well just type it. That help? Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. So with all that you know so far, when it comes to building your teams, when it comes to this system, right? Being able to self-assess where you are in a team. Who are you in a team? Do you need a team? Think about the assessment piece of all of it, right? Be able to effectively communicate if you're making changes to your team, or be able to communicate if you need to hire a team. All effective communication. That includes effective communication in your brand. What is the message that you're putting out? I know some of you here for marketing and things of that nature. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine and they were like, I don't know what to do with my brand manager versus my publicist. And I said that your publicist is responsible for your perception. Your brand manager is technically responsible for your marketing. And you need to have that differentiation there, because your publicist it's their job to make you look pretty. So it shouldn't be their job to make sure that you're out there. You're putting too much on one person. Let them stay in their lane and be able to fly free in their lane. Now, the PR and the brand manager can come together and have conversations to make sure that they're giving the same message, but put people in their place and let them do their job. All right. Now, the importance of that is so that you can forecast. And I did get a question. It was a DM. Somebody asked, why was the communicate effectively before forecasting? Reason being is because if you didn't communicate with the team that this makes sense, it doesn't matter what you're forecasting. Everybody's not on board. If you didn't effectively communicate with the people that you needed to talk to put other things in place, not even just your team, but if you didn't talk to those other people, it doesn't matter what you forecast. That's a goal/pipe dream. So that's why that would be second. All right. And then being able to be consistent in change. What can you do to make sure that you're giving the same information every time? And a lot of times it's not about the information you're giving, right? It's Oh gosh, I used to have this boyfriend, right? And we would get into it about simple things, my hair, or something that I wore. And he's like, oh, he was a fixer. You can always do something better. And I said, it's not about what you said, it's about the presentation of the information, right? And we all know that. We've heard it in different forms, different scenarios. It's always the presentation of the information. Are you giving this information excitedly over to your people? If you're bringing in something new and you make it seem like this big deal and this big change, there's no consistency in that, because now everybody's scared. Did you bring it to them excited? Did you show them how easy it is to maneuver and navigate these things in whatever their new role may be, or whatever new thing they have on their plate? Right? That's important. Next, behind all of that, every minute counts. As a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, every single minute counts. So I have my rule of 3. And I've seen a lot of different people use all of their different rules. My rule of 3 is that if I can get it done in 3 minutes, it's done in 3 minutes. And I hold myself accountable to that. If I can get it done in 3 hours, 3 days, the only thing that should take me 3 years is a major money goal. Right? So keeping that rule of 3, because every minute counts. If Oprah says tomorrow that she doesn't like, I don't know, Sprite is going to take a hit. It doesn't matter how long they've been in business and everybody loves Sprite, whatever, they're going to take a hit. And that's the world that we live in. Influencers do that. They influence. Technology will change. Facebook is Facebook one day and Meta the next. There's a whole metaverse coming. And if you're not ready for it, you will be left behind. So understand that every single minute in your business counts. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I even use that with my kids. I'm telling you, all of my principles I use in every facet of my life, right? So where are you? Are you at the place where you're excited to expand your business? Are you motivated to start trying to get some of your time back, right? Putting people in place, or do you need people in systems, right? I want you to think about that over, the rest of your time in the incubation program. Where am I? And then start implementing the system. Don't make it so big. Take everything down to like building the birthday party. I need cups, I need plates, I need this, I need that. Use the same system in that same format for every decision. Does that make sense? Cool. And whatever your motivation is, I support you. You can always reach out to me, but know that you have each other too. You have been here in this program for quite some time. I'm pretty sure they've built the culture up to where you're able to continue to communicate with each other, but don't just leave it here. Don't just leave it here. Be the support for others. There's nothing greater than being able to have industry friends that aren't in your industry, because you're able to use the same models. When I'm talking about network marketing, it's the same thing when it comes to when I'm talking to another coach, right? Host a webinar. That's what they do. If y'all remember like World Ventures, when they get you to come do the travel parties, or even Avon, right? They have a presentation and then they try to get you enrolled. And then, whatever lifestyle they're trying to show you, they do all of those things. And it's just the system. You don't have to recreate it. You just add your spice, add your sauce to it. But you be here to support each other. Right? And that's in whatever facet that you can. A lot of times we overlook some of our funding from other business owners. That doesn't mean that you have to go hand each other $100,000, but it could just simply mean that, oh, you know what? I'm willing to invest my community in front of you. I'm willing to go live with you so that my people see you, your people see me. How can we make this happen together? Right? Or I'm willing to invest my time. You can do something that I kind of need. And again, we think too high. Some of you are probably great at typing and someone else is not, but they're great at integrating something else. Use each other to all the capacities. It doesn't just have to be about what their business is about. So keep that community going. All right. I'll let you know just a few things some other clients have said about me.
She literally gave me an hour and a half of just absolutely great information that I really hope that y'all see an absolute difference in my page and notice it, like, oh, she's doing this, or she's being more consistent, or it was something I was working on, but literally it was the push that I needed. So like, people who go out of their way to make sure that they're helping you just because they see you doing great, like that goes to show their character, and let alone the information that she gave me. So
consumable, a course that over delivers, go to shatoraladoran.com. It is below shatoraladoran.com. Or you can click the link that's below here, and you can book a consultation to see if, this company is definitely going to be a good fit for you, okay? And I can vouch for Shatora. She does a lot of work with me and my program and the podcast. So make sure you go to shatoraladoran.com or click the link and book the consultation, all right?
I wanted to show you this because these are friends of mine who are also business friends, industry friends, right? Utilizing space. We went to high school together and never, ever spoke to each other. You end up Facebook friends. We never spoke to each other in school. And just one day she happened to be showing a video about her doing organization. And I'm like, oh, I do business operations and putting systems together. Let's see what we could do. We talked and I ended up helping her with her business, right? But in turn, she helped me with mine because I was able to use concepts from a cleaning business and the systems she uses to be able to put into my business. David Shands with the Social Proof podcast, the way that the podcast was being ran, being organized, that's how I ended up doing the show notes for his podcast. One of my other companies, it's called the University Live. We ended up doing the podcast notes because we realized there was no other way for them to be able to gather all of the great information from all of the great speakers that he was having on. But you see how it doesn't have to be within your same industry. Your team goes far beyond people that you pay. Far beyond people that you pay. All right. And because of the other teams that I have built with all of these other people, 88% of my revenue comes from my own programs, things that I have personally created, things that I've been able to get with other industries outside of my industry friends to create. I do say no to projects that drain me or interfere with my family time, and I do not apologize for it. I am okay with being known and not being famous. And I say yes to projects that really light me up, give me purpose, like being here. Like this is what I live for. All right. So I want you to keep that in mind as you're building a team. Are you using your own practices? Because that's what fits your brand. That's what makes the culture inside of your community. Right? That's what helps you become a business owner. Are you saying no to projects that drain you and interfere with family time? This isn't just about you. That's about your team. Are you putting people in a position to where they're no longer happy and they don't want to work for you anymore because you're interfering with their family time? And are you saying yes to projects that light you up? And again, that's not just about you. Did somebody bring an idea to you that really could help the business and you're like, I don't know, I don't really have time for that? Let them run it. They're an extension of you. Let them, you can spearhead the project all you want to. Let me see how far you fly. That makes a great leader. That's building a great team. All right. Now you have two options after today. You could try to, create and implement systems, do this all on your own. This time next year, you probably end up in the same place, right? Or you can 100% commit to growing your business, creating systems, creating your team, putting these things that we've talked about today into action. I used to say, welcome to Vegas when I would do some of my live events. And I would say, the phrase in Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And that's true. What you learned here can absolutely stay here, or you can implement. You can talk about this with your team, talk about this with your spouse, implement everything that you learned today. Put it into a process, put it into a system. How does my child get up out of the bed and wash their face every morning? It's a system. I'm cooking, it's a system. Me getting on my phone is a system, right? Everything is a process or a system. But I do want to invite you all to give me a call, but a call with me is not for everyone. A call with me would be that you have actually decided that, okay, you know what, I really need to get my business-ish together, and I am more than willing to talk to you. And that doesn't mean, you know, oh, I'm asking you to pay me. No, we can have a conversation. I'm always fine with helping new businesses, new business owners get started, but you have to call me about business. You have to call me about something specific. Cool? Is that a deal?
May I
The
ask a
best
question?
deal ever. The best deal ever.
Best deal ever. Now, this is what qualifies you to make a call with me. You have to be decisive and open-minded and coachable. Like, if you've heard me talking today, you see that I'll come up with things just off the top of my head, and I need you to be open to the idea. Also, I need you to have an idea of what you really want your business to look like. The big, big picture, right? And that's going to change, and it's supposed to. How you get there, right, may become a little rocky, but I need you to know what it looks like. One cool thing about Kobe Bryant was that he knew, like, it didn't matter who tried to recruit him, he knew what team he wanted to play for. He knew what it looked like, right? And last, you have to be able to commit 30 days. You know how I go in my rule of 3? 30 is still part of that 3. You have to be willing to commit to whatever we talk about, or I won't have a conversation with you again. And that's just me being honest, right? I don't want to waste your time, because to me, I take it to heart. I take it very seriously whenever I'm able to help somebody, even if it's a friend of mine that gives me a call and is like, hey, can we go over this? If you're not going to implement, don't call. I can spend my time with somebody who's ready to go, like who wants to build something. We talk about generational wealth, and we talk about all of the things that are going on in society right now. If you have no plans to change it, stay where you are. There's many people who want to get ahead, right? But you can call me, you can contact me, you can connect with me. Actually, I'll drop my calendar link here. I do host VIP sessions. The VIP sessions, those are actual 5 hours where we like really just dive into your business. We go deep into your business. I actually order you lunch so that we don't have to leave. But it's 5 hours of intense work, a full VIP day to just get it together. Like wherever you are in business, I meet you there. Right?
I really need that.
Go for it.
I really need that. I have a 32-page business plan. There's certain, I need a mentor. I have mentors, but I need an outside view, and I would love like honest, fully critical feedback, and I'm a doer.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Like I said, give me a call. Give me a call. Let's talk about it. We could definitely talk about your business, where you are. And there are plenty of times where people have hit me up, you know, they say they're ready to do the VIP. We talk about it. And there may be a few steps that you need before you're ready to work with me. And I'll give you that information too, if you do need it. Right. So I'm never the one to waste, again, your time or your money. But
I'm a person. I've learned that a lot of times you have to like lock it down in the moment. I would love to like start, like, I've been working on this for far too long. And I really want to get this to happen, you know, like the right way. I have a building, and the building has just been sitting there. I basically have all my solar panels, my plumbing equipment. I have everything, you know, but I've been hesitating with certain aspects, and I need some clarity.
Okay, well, do me this one favor first. I need you to move everything out of that building or into a room. And until you can get it together, I need you to be renting that space out. You are not paying money just to have that room sit there. I don't care if you do it as an Airbnb, if there's enough windows, if you host it as an event space, whatever you do.
It's a daycare. It's
okay. Okay. Good.
You know what? I'm about to do that now. I'm about to do that now. That's a good idea.
I'm all for it. Please follow me on Instagram. Everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, I'm Shatora Ladorn everywhere. LinkedIn, I'm never really on LinkedIn. I can't tell you the last time I really posted, but I would love to hear from you though, if you don't mind, and I'll stop sharing my screen. I would love to hear your, what you got from today, because I'm always assessing my business too, right? Where was I helpful? Where was I not, right? Was this information that you heard before, or did you hear it differently? So anybody, if you're open, I know we have 3 minutes and I want to be respectful of everybody's time, but if you're willing to share, I'd love to hear more.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say for me, I think it helps to, it wasn't like the super specific detailed stuff, which I think we'll talk about. I think I just set up our appointment. But I would say the key thing is especially just, I think having the right mindset, because I think that's the part that for me was really challenging, because, trying to figure out how do I juggle, and I think we touched on it earlier again, right? The whole flexible without being too rigid. Those are the things that, I overthought a lot and trying to figure out how do I do this? How do I figure this out? And some people just kind of naturally do this. And then I think you gave me a lot of really good, how would I say, like principles that I can build my plans around, essentially to help my team be more effective. I also got a ton of information from just chatting with the folks too, right? I think a lot of us, you're right about, really sharing that information. It's not done enough, because it jogged my thoughts several times hearing many of you share some of your insights and ideas and see ways that I can incorporate some of those solutions into my business. So I really thought this whole thing was extremely valuable. So thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, community, definitely.
I would like to add that you have been extremely valuable, speaking about just team building and structure, discipline, automations, self-assessment has been really important. But I think one of the most important things that I'm getting from this is the collaborations, the networking with each other. But we're all growing our businesses to scale, but scaling is the first thing you think about is funding. But how do you get funding? Based on the relationships you have. So what I love about what you presented is that you have built yourself and your brand to become so attractive to larger brands, Instacart and Social Proof and all these other Fortune 500 companies that you've worked with. And that's really the core of what I think we all need to understand, is how to build yourself to a place where scalability means you've scaled your relationships to actually scale your income.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Gosh, what is that term? It says your communication is a direct reflection of how much money you'll make. Because one of the major principles, and you can use it biblically, you can use it whatever aspect, is that most of the time everything just comes down to the ask. If you didn't ask, you don't know. You could literally be walking by the owner of, I don't know, Chevron. And if you just didn't ask, you didn't ask. When we talk about business and how do we make sales and how do we think about it, all you did was ask. Might have overthought, and I love that you're doing the marketing and all of that. It comes down to, did you ask?
Absolutely. So great. Powerful information.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Tora, so I had one very quick question, and I'm not asking you to do this, but I'm wondering if business coaches would ever consider like partnering with some of the smaller startups, meaning and I'm not asking you to do it, I'm just saying, I thought about this because I've had businesses for over 2 decades, and I've had people ask me, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I just tell them, I don't take money for information. I'm not asking you to do that. What I'm asking is, I've had some businesses that were awesome and could have gone farther than where they were, but I did need coaching at the time. So I was looking for somebody who believed in what I was doing enough to say, I'm going to coach you through, and when you get on, you pay me. I'm going to take 10% of whatever you make when I make your business go boom. I'm going to do that for you. And then in return, you are going to pay me. Because a lot of times I just did not have that upfront money, you know what I mean, to start it. So is that stupid, or is that something that, people you have to believe in the business and then you invest in that business.
That's actually one of the things that I do. Yep. I step in.
Okay, because I came in late, so I came in late.
No, I hadn't showed it.
Okay, right on.
I do that. I step in as an interim COO, Chief Operating Officer. We go through a business brand analysis, find the gaps, pick your brain, and then we go through the steps, right? Implementing systems, define and build your team, your key players, talk about change management, all of that. So yes, I do. Right. But the thing about it is, because I look at that as a partnership, then I have to believe in it. Right. Like I said, I only do the things that light me up. But if it's not something that and I don't want to say don't believe in, but if it's not something that I'm passionate about, I'm still always more than willing. Like, I have a retainer where it's like, you can still just reach out to me and get information anytime, basically on demand. I believe I still have it set at 12 hours a month, which is almost 2.5 hours a day that you could reach out to me and we talk. Anybody else? I'm over time. Let me actually give you host back.
You are not over time. Keep talking.
I'm always trying to make sure that I'm respectful of your time and I use it wisely. So
you are absolutely incredible. I think I'm in awe, just to be quite honest. And I definitely feel like a follow-up with you is so essential. So I'm encouraging everyone to schedule your appointments with her. I definitely am going to do that for myself. And I just can't wait to see you pull out the greatness of our individual businesses by helping us to get focused, get structured, get organized, because I think that there's so many nuances, like Javon mentioned, that, we can't specifically get into in 2 hours, but when you speak to us individually, we'll be able to figure out what Javon needs, what Zach needs, what Paul needs, what Karen needs, what all of us need. So thank you so much for your time and your expertise. You are an amazing, powerful woman and a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, a leader. And we're just so grateful to have you. Thank you for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you. I am grateful for being here. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you all.
Correct. Shatora, the Rewired Assessment Consult. Is that where I'm doing it?
So the business operations Rewired, everything in mine should pop up as Rewired. But where are you looking for me on?
On the internet. Bing.
So everything should be at Shatora Ladorn. Here, I can just drop you my Instagram in the chat.
So go to your Instagram to get to where I need to go to.
Yes, you can go from my Instagram, or let me drop the link again. Here is the link to my calendar. There's my Instagram. Here is the link to my calendar.
Okay.
So there's both. Facebook, same thing. Shatora Ladorn everywhere.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Shatora. We're going to let you go. Go continue to be great. Everyone continue to use this information. And again, always feel free to reach out to me and to your fellow founders. I do believe that you all have each other's access in our Slack group. If you don't, then just reach out to me and I'll make sure you all get connected. Thank you again. Have an amazing day and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.
Bye.